Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Triple R Show, Real Raw Recovery, where healing begins with honesty. My name is Mike, and this is John, and we are your co-hosts, and we are glad to get back on the trail with you today of recovery and happiness. Last week, we spoke about the importance of living inside the triangle, and every single episode that we do here, John and I are going to talk about the triangle because that is the foundation of our recovery, and that is the foundation for long-term sobriety and happiness. This is not just a quick fix and all of a sudden we're okay, and then we're dealing with cravings and triggers and relapses, and we're coming back to square one. This is recovery for the rest of your life. The more you are exposed to it, the more you're going to become aware of it, and then the more you're going to start living it. For example, me this week, I was expecting an incentive from my banking institution that I am not going to get because of an error that was on their end. And there was a point in my life where I would have been livid and I would have taken that experience and that conversation with me for the rest of the day, leaving no room for growth on my end. And right there, the triangle was thrown into my face. And I realized, you know what? I have the power to make the choice to accept the situation as it is because I can't control it. And when I start getting angry and resentful is when I start bringing that control stuff back into my life. And I'm not leaving room for gratitude and appreciation for where I am. You start finding yourself in situations where we're using this triangle and not even realizing it. I have the power to make a choice how I'm going to react. And at the end of the day, I'm responsible for everything I say, think, feel, and do in my life. Because I'm the only person that I can't control. I can't control the person that works in the financial department in the bank. I can't control anyone else in the bank, the manager. All I can control is how I react to the situation. Am I going to let it ruin my entire day? You ever find yourself, John, in situations where in the past you would just get nuts and carry it throughout the day with you?
I have. I had a problem with accepting and taking responsibilities of the situations that I created. And that is something that is very important in this recovery, taking responsibility. We have to accept what happened. We cannot change it. In order to move into the present moment and stay in the present, we have to accept, take responsibility, and release the past in order to be in the present moment, to move forward for those doors to open to a new positive life that we can create by building our self-esteem. Our power is in the moment.
Right? We have no power in the past and we have no power in the future. All we have is right now.
When you reconnect with that power in the present moment, you can then be able to build your self-esteem, change that negative belief you have of yourself. And doing that, as we had talked about before, doing mirror work and changing the way we think is what we need to do. Because as we said before, this is not the alcohol that is the problem. It is our thinking.
And that's the thing is that we need to make a decision. Am I going to make a commitment to this work? Because you will find yourself in situations where you are putting it into action because this program is a verb. It's an action. All right. So if you have to do the work, it's not going to occur through osmosis. It's not just we're not going to give you the information on the triangle, responsibility, power, and choice, and all of a sudden you're going to handle situations differently. But if you do the mirror work and you build your self-esteem and you do this work, then you will start seeing it and you will start being aware of situations and you will react differently.
I think too, Mike, we have to bring in, some forgiveness. We need to forgive ourselves, which is not condoning what we did, but it's releasing the burden that we are holding of what we did in the past.
And that's what we want to focus on. John and I want to focus on today is forgiveness. And last week we spoke about acceptance. We and you cannot totally transform unless we're able to forgive. If we don't forgive, then we are not living in the moment, like John said, and using our power to our advantage. We don't forgive ourselves, most importantly, and everyone else around us and our loved ones, then we're building resentment, which is going to lead to anger, and it's going to fuel rage. And that is poison to our bodies. That is poison to our recovery and our development as people. We have to be able to move on. It doesn't mean that you are condoning the behavior that was done, but you have accepted that you are going to choose peace and happiness over anger, which is going to leave room for happiness in your life.
Yeah, understanding that, back to we cannot change that. What we can change is our thinking. in creating positivity moving forward.
Now, when we say forgiving ourselves, we have to remember, and a couple of podcasts ago, we brought it up, that we did the best that we possibly could with the knowledge, the understanding, and awareness that we had at the time. 98% of the time, everyone here is listening to this podcast, and John and I included, did not set out to destroy ourselves or destroy other people around us with our choices. But we did the best we could, and you have to use that in your healing process to make you better. And one of John's favorite quotes with forgiving is use a what?
To put the baseball back down and pick up the feather.
Yeah, if we're hammering ourselves all day long, you can't move forward if you're moving back.
No, we need that. That's where the patience comes in with ourselves moving forward. We need to be patient with this process because it is a process. There is no top of the mountain. There is no finish line. This is a lifelong process. This is something we are going to do the rest of our lives to be better than we were yesterday. Always looking forward and working on ourselves, our self-esteem, our self-worth, loving ourselves.
Yeah, and working on ourselves today so tomorrow is better than it is now. The key is to continue that pendulum moving forward. We talked about forgiving ourselves and forgiving other people. What we have to remember also is that while we did the best with the knowledge, understanding, and awareness that we had, there were some waves along the way. And we need to be forgiven. Like last week, we talked about acceptance, but it really also is intertwined with forgiveness. So we talked about holding the door open for somebody and they didn't say thank you. All right, so you accept it as it is. We don't know what they were going through. But you're not going to see that person that you held the door for the rest of your life. You have loved ones, you have coworkers, you have people that you deal with on an everyday basis that you're going to have to learn how to forgive and coexist with. And that's going to be important, and it's a little bit more difficult. And in that area, we have to always remember what was our role in it. What was our responsibility in that dynamic? And we can't forget about that because even though we did our best, we were still responsible. We just didn't take responsibility. And it's going to take work and continued effort, not to make up for what happened, because that already happened. Just continue for you to be the best you could possibly be for yourself and for the people that you care about. As we're moving along here, like smartphones, they know what you're listening to. They know we have our Instagram. They know we have our website. Every single reel I get is like on addiction recovery, and everyone's got their own 2 cents on what it should be, whether it's an allergy or a brain defect or yada yada yada, or I'll change your world. I've worked with senators and actors and professional athletes because everyone that's here has seen those reels also. I almost want to say, that you've seen these reels, but until you do the work here, and we talked a couple episodes ago about this being the keys to the kingdom. If you do this work for the triangle, transformation therapy, you will change. You absolutely will change. And it doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete. It doesn't matter if you're a Hollywood actor. This works.
Yeah, this transformational recovery, we have to remember, is not about just staying away from a drink or drug. This is about changing who we are as a person inside and outside.
Change the way you look at the world around you has got to change. Simple as that. And I've changed the way I look at things. I changed the way I perceive things. And I know you have as well, John. And it's just a completely different world. I use the analogy of the Matrix. I don't know if anyone here has seen the Matrix, but life in active addiction was so chaotic and so not confusing, but no order, no discipline in what was going on. Yeah, we got things done, but not in a timely fashion and not as well as we probably could have got it done. And it seems with the awareness that has been acquired through this work of loving ourselves and caring about what happens to ourselves, and understanding that we can choose whatever we want to do. We can choose if we want to pick up. That's our choice, and we have the power to make that choice. And we're responsible for our decisions, and we talked about consequences. There are going to be consequences for our choice. And you'll start, like I said, with the Matrix. You're going to be like Neo. Things are coming at you, and life slows down. You take care of one thing, you take care of another thing, and you're not overwhelmed. And when you don't have the chaos and the anger and the fear, that is all gone. All right, everybody. Again, thank you for joining us today on the Triple R Show, where honesty meets healing every single day. If you liked what you heard and it resonated with you, please join us on our Instagram account at real_raw_recovery and realrawrecovery.org. Please like and share, and we will see you all next week. Have a great day, everybody.